Hi friends, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today's topic will be all about intermittent fasting. If you watched my last video, you know that I can personally attest to about half of my weight loss to intermittent fasting. And I got some comments, I got some support, so I want to thank you guys so much so far for supporting this channel, for liking the video, and for sharing it. So let's keep that momentum going. We're on to great things here. So first things first, what is intermittent fasting? What is it all about? So intermittent fasting, or abbreviated IF, if you would like to look for it on Pinterest or something, is basically when you eat for a certain amount of hours in the day and then you fast for the rest of the hours. So there are different types of intermittent fasting. I personally did the 16-8 method, which is where I would eat for 8 hours out of the day and fast for 16 hours out of the day. That may seem like a lot, but remember that you do sleep for 7 to 8 hours. So a third of that time is you sleeping. So you're really only not eating for 8 hours out of the day. That's your weight, which, you know, it's doable. And then there is the 24 method, where you eat for 4 hours out of the day and then fast for 20. And then there's the OMAD method, which means 1 meal a day. So you just eat one time a day, you eat the amount of calories that works for your caloric deficit in that one meal, and then that's it. You don't eat anything else for that day. You can incorporate OMAD with the 16-8 or the 24 method. You can have a time frame that you'll eat your 1 meal a day and it'll pretty much like work the same. But like I said, for me, I personally did the 16-8 method, especially when I first got started with fasting, because I feel like I had a very weird relationship with food. I feel like I was just eating just because it was available and eating because I was bored. And intermittent fasting really got me out of that habit and really taught me to only eat when I was hungry or when I really needed to eat. So there's that. So there's different type of methods, different type of ways you can incorporate it. For me, it worked with my schedule. The 16-8 method just a little bit better, especially like I said, because I was just getting started with it. So I would eat from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and then I wouldn't eat anything else for the rest of the night or early in the morning. Like I wouldn't eat breakfast, but I'm not a big breakfast person anyway, so that really didn't matter to me. But what did matter was that I couldn't eat any snacks at night. That was tough. But it gets easier. It does get easier. Some health benefits to intermittent fasting: decreases your risk of obesity and diabetes, improves heart health, improves memory and cognitive ability. There are so many studies that show the benefit of fasting. I will be presenting you guys with several of those studies throughout the next couple of videos, just so you guys can see like the actual science and the research that has been done behind it. There is a wonderful channel that I follow on YouTube. His name is Edward V, and his YouTube name is Fledge Fitness, and his whole channel is like basically him breaking down all of these research studies that have been done on intermittent fasting, and like basically just showing how great of a tool it is to lose body fat and to like get into that healthier lifestyle. I lost the words I was trying to say. Anyway, so yeah, I will link his page in the description box so you guys can check him out. He really helped me with getting started and trying to figure out which method worked for me best. I would recommend for anybody trying to get started to do the 16-8 method. To me, it was the easiest to do, especially if you do have that relationship with food where you just kind of eat because it's available or you eat because you're bored. So I would start with that. I still do the 16-8 method, but I really try to focus on OMAD more so than anything. and sometimes it don't work out. Sometimes I eat twice a day, but I still eat between the same time. It's kind of just like naturally now, and that's the beauty about it. Once you do it for a few weeks, in a month, and then like me, this is like my 3rd year with intermittent fasting, and it's just kind of out of a habit. Like I don't naturally get hungry until after 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and I typically don't want food after like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And if I do get like hungry at night, I'll eat like some apples or orange or some trail mix or something like that. Every now and then, I ain't gonna lie, I do have some chips because, you know, we're not perfect, okay? It's okay to eat a chip. Eat some chips, it's fine. Anyway, let's get back to intermittent fasting. So, I just wanted to talk about my mental state when I first started fasting. It took me a minute to realize the negative relationship that I had with food, and I didn't get it until I started fasting. I was like, dang, like I really can't eat until 12 o'clock. And then when 8 o'clock at night came, I was like, dang, I can't eat nothing else today. But I had to get my mind out of that, like, oh, you can't do this, or you can't do, like, you can't eat this type of food. Like, do you even want it? Like, are you even hungry? So it took my mental a little bit of time to get like more positive, I guess you could say, when doing it. But it really took discipline the first few days, because it was kind of tough. I'm not even gonna lie. Like those first 3 to 4 days, real tough. But the first week that I did intermittent fasting, I lost like 7 pounds, 5 to 7 pounds. I can't remember, but I do remember it was between like 5 and 7. And I was like super happy because like I've been doing stuff, working out, eating as little as possible, literally trying to do anything to lose weight, and it just would not come off. And then I started doing intermittent fasting, and every time I would get on the scale, the numbers would drop. Now granted, the first week it was mostly water weight, but I didn't care, the numbers was getting low. And then weeks later, the numbers were still dropping, and at that point I knew it was body fat that I was losing and not water weight. So the point of all of it is to say, be consistent. Like, don't start it and then it gets hard the first week and then you stop, because I promise you, you will see results if you keep going. Like, if you keep your method going, your 12-8 or your 16-8, sorry, or your 24 or OMAD or whatever you choose to do, if you keep that up, I promise you will definitely see amazing results. Another thing while fasting is to make sure you are in a caloric deficit. Being in a caloric deficit means eating between a specific range for your height, weight, and your goal weight. And I think they have like gender and age too on the calculator, just to make it a little bit more specific. Just so you know how many calories you should eat a day. This is not the same thing as being restricted of calories. This is not me telling you can only eat 500 calories a day, because that's not healthy. This is also not me telling you to eat 1,200 calories a day, because that's also pretty low. But it depends on what your goal is. Like, if you are trying to lose a drastic amount of weight, you know, from what you are now, and then your goal weight is drastically lower, your caloric deficit might be between 1,200 and 1,500 calories a day, just because you want to see results quicker. So it just gives you that range. So don't think of caloric deficit as the same as calorie restriction, because the calorie restriction is saying you can only eat 1,200 calories a day and you cannot go over that. It's not the same thing. You have flexibility while being in a caloric deficit, but you have to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight. I cannot stress that enough. So being in a caloric deficit and intermittent fasting does help being in a caloric deficit, because you only get a certain amount of time to eat anyway. So it works. They both go hand in hand, and they both work wonders. I promise you, I am 50 pounds down, and I am still trying to lose at least like 10, 15 more. Everybody's like, no, you're good, don't do it. But for me, like, I want to lose like 10 or 15 more. Just just to say I did it. So I think that will wrap up the video. Second video down, a whole lot more to go. Again, thank you all for your support on the last video. If you haven't watched it, go watch that one first and then come back to this one. Trying to get the hang of this YouTube thing. Last video I used my phone, this time I got an actual camera, so if the quality looks different, that's why. Hopefully this quality is better. And yeah, so anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.